Peter Ducey is reporting some interesting things. Now, I don't know if you've got these nuggets yet or not, but I'll read them for our viewers.
Yeah.
The Trump team asked to inspect the ears of each debater for electronic devices or transmitters. The Biden team has not consented to that. The Biden team wanted a break every 30 minutes. The Trump team said, we will not have that. What more can you fill in about those requests thus far?
Those are significant. First of all, the breaks are set by the debate commission. So the Trump campaign may not have agreed to it, but also the debate commission has always said that it's 90 minutes straight through, and that's how they planned for it, and that's what they told the networks. That's what we're planning for as far as our coverage. As far as the listening devices and the Biden campaign's response to that, I think that's interesting, and we're going to have to follow that through the day to what comes out of that.
Yeah. We'll work for an answer on that. Bret, nice to see you.
So that was Fox News basically perpetuating the newest Donald Trump conspiracy theory, which is that Joe Biden is going to have a secret earpiece in his ear tonight in the first debate hosted and moderated by Fox News, journalist Chris Wallace. And that the argument from the Trump campaign is that Biden is, using performance-enhancing drugs. That's often the argument they make. They've often suggested that when he does well, it's because he's using those PEDs. And they're also now basically saying that whenever Joe Biden gives a good answer, it's because there's something in his ear prodding him towards that answer. Somebody in a truck across the street from the debate center basically feeding him the talking points because Biden can't remember it. And this is absurd. And again, I am a person on this channel multiple times who has acknowledged that Joe Biden has demonstrated instances of cognitive decline. I've done it for Trump as well. Neither of these men, by people polled, are seen as mentally fit for office. But to suggest that Biden in particular is using all of these cheating ploys, which would be absurd in a movie about a presidential election, let alone an actual presidential election, is just totally baseless. It's totally baseless to go around asking for testing and to inspect the ears of the fellow debaters just because Donald Trump is projecting. Because it's Donald Trump who has exhibited deep signs himself of not being physically and mentally fit. His cognitive health test was knowing what an elephant was. And I don't even know if he did all that well on that test. Chris Wallace himself noted that the test isn't that hard, sir. It doesn't really prove much. Donald Trump can't always hold a water glass. Donald Trump can't always walk. Donald Trump can't stand up straight. And look, none of those things in and of themselves should be, touted as definitive proof that Donald Trump is unwell. But if you're going to hold Biden to that standard, then you have to do the same for Trump. And so when you see Trump asking for these sorts of things, you have to assume that Trump himself is guilty of something similar, because that's rule one in the Trump playbook. Play one in the Trump playbook is projection. He accuses Biden of being on something to perk him up for a debate. Trump's the one that many people have accused him of using Adderall for that purpose. And again, I don't know if those accusations are true or not, but they're certainly there, and Trump shouldn't be throwing them out if he can't take it. He shouldn't dish it if he can't take it. And what Fox News here did was really irresponsible. What Bret Baier did here was very irresponsible because, he's getting this news that Biden and Trump are bouncing requests back and forth, and he suggests that, Trump wants 90 minutes straight. That seems to be the norm, but Trump also wants to check Joe Biden's ears for an electronic device. And then Biden obviously denied that absurd request. And then what Bret Baier says is, oh, this is very interesting. We'll have to see what comes of this. Almost to give it legitimacy, to say, oh, this is an interesting development. We're really going to have to follow this serious, interesting development. And he doesn't necessarily strictly take sides, but he doesn't do what any reasonable journalist should do, even if they're partisan towards Trump and the Republican Party, and say, that is absurd. the president and his team are absurd to make the request, and that's that. Because here's the thing. Trump is very clearly trying to cover his bases either way. If Biden has a bad performance, it's because he's sleepy, senile Joe Biden. And if he has a good performance or even a decent performance, I doubt either of these men are going to give a sterling performance. I don't expect that from either of them. Then it's because he's being fed answers into his ear. And so there's no way that Joe Biden can have a good night. And that's what they're trying to do. And their base will believe them. So reject these conspiracy theories. Even if you're like me and acknowledge that Biden's not really all there all the time, this is baseless.